It's a really stormy, overcast day, but it feels good because the temperatures have dropped. And believe it or not, I cannot feel that hot mugginess in the air. It kind of blew its way out. So today, sorry, I don't want to blind you, is really a perfect day for staying inside and getting some prep work done in the kitchen for preparation for meals for the week, or even something that you want to store in the freezer. So I did a whole lot of chopping up and utilizing things that I talked about that I had in the fridge, have them soaking in the sink in cold water, and I'll repackage them. And just thought, you know, sometimes you have to make good use out of that these overcast rainy days. So hope you will stay tuned for my video. Excuse my hat and my mismatched shirt, but when you run out, you just slap a few things on and you get out. I got to the grocery store right at opening, which was 7 a.m., and it was fantastic. I had the whole store to myself, minus maybe a half a dozen people, so it was great. So I feel like I've had a really good, productive morning. I hope you'll stay tuned for my video, because it's all about what I purchased at the grocery store. I'm going to share a few of my favorite tips in the kitchen and some of my very, very favorite kitchen utensils that I use, or kitchen items that I use that help prep food and make things really easy. So hope you'll stay tuned. And this is what I beat by going to the grocery store. It's like, you know, a blizzard winter storm up north. I guess this is what's considered a blizzard rainstorm. Look how far in the rain is coming into the patio. Yeah, and it's lightning, so I guess I'll go in. Yep, just thought I'd share with you. What I would do is share with you a few of my tips for what I do to prepare myself for grocery shopping. First and foremost, I try to make a list, but if I'm not sure about what it is exactly that I want to make or prepare for the upcoming weeks, then what I'll do is I go through my refrigerator, go through my freezer, and check what I have in stock. That's number one. Number two, I clean out my freezer on that day that I'm going to do my refrigerator. And then I look and see, what do I have left over. I had a couple of cucumbers left over. I had a large purple onion that was half used. I had a little bit of I think celery left. And so from there, I kind of gathered some thoughts in my mind as to what I wanted to make and prepare and what I was looking for at the store. So I knew I needed, I wanted to make soup. So I had some celery left over for stock, for the soup stock. And I went ahead and purchased new celery stock and some carrots and leeks, because that's what I'm making my soup base with. And I noticed that I needed some meats because I want to make a chicken marsala wine dish over pasta. I want to make a beef, kind of a crock pot Chinese, kind of has a Chinese thing with mixed vegetables and shiitake mushrooms and stuff like that. So I knew I needed some basic chicken to pick up for my soup, and some beef for my Chinese, and just a couple of other things. And so I wanted to just kind of share with you my thoughts along those lines, because I also had some chicken in the freezer that I want to make some roasted chicken with some red and yellow bell pepper that I had left over in the refrigerator that needs to be cut up, sauteed, and used, and I like to just bake it in the oven. It's a really tasty, simple, easy dish. I mean, just use the spices that your family loves and really spice up your chicken. Put it in a nice pan. Go ahead and, well, it doesn't have to be nice. I guess it could be a mean pan, whatever. But put it in a baking dish. Really season it well. My favorite seasonings are garlic, salt,
pepper, paprika. Sometimes I'll sprinkle a little bit of basil on top, but I don't want any of the herbs to be overwhelming. I want a nice roasted chicken. And it's really important to roast the chicken with it being well seasoned, because that's where all your flavor is. And then I kind of bake it in the oven about halfway, and then I smother the top of it with red pepper, yellow pepper, whatever I have left over, and even onions. And then I put olive oil on top. I put it back in the oven and let it finish cooking. So that's one of the dishes that I'm going to be making. So I have that prep to do with those bell peppers. And like I said, I had some leftover celery. So I keep this for my stock. So when I make my base, and I bought some fresh celery. I had leftover cucumber and a whole one. So with this and onions, I'm going to make a sour cream salad, which is simple and easy. This pear and gorgonzola salad is awesome. The dressing in there is awesome. So they had 3 for $10, which I think is a good deal. And what I do is I add a filler when I'm making a large amount of this. And this is the sweet butter, and this was also part of their sale. So that was a good deal. And then also the Bella mushrooms is the mushrooms of choice that I like to use when I'm making my chicken marsala. And then I purchased some shiitake mushrooms because I'm going to use these in a beef dish that I'm going to do in the crock pot. And it's just going to have that Chinese, Japanese flair, because I also bought some sprouts, and then I add some of my own vegetables like water chestnuts, and I get the beef chunks and I saute them. I like to kind of dredge them in seasoned flour, saute them, and then throw them all in the crock pot. And then I make my own gravy with rice wine vinegar and soy sauce, and it's really delicious. And then for $2.99 they have these beautiful asparagus, and I thought, oh gosh, these look so good, and this is the season for it here. And they're sweet and tender, and so with those I'll probably just, grill those either on top of my oven grill with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and just keep them plain and just eat the deliciousness of those. And sometimes I even add those to my chicken marsala. I had purchased this large bag of broccoli that I need to use up, so I got a head of cauliflower, and what I'll do with this is cut the cauliflower up, mix it with the broccoli. Again, I like to use sea salt, lots of pepper, just a wee bit of accent, not a whole lot. And then I like to take a flavored cheese. And the cheese that I had in my refrigerator is called black pepper cheese. This is absolutely delicious. It's great over any kind of pasta dish. I love to use a hunk of the rind when I'm making my homemade sauces. And so what I'll do is I will really douse this grated cheese on this with a ton of olive oil, roast it in the oven. Then what I do is I start it off with a little bit of cheese while it's roasting, and then about the last 5 or 10 minutes I just add a whole bunch more cheese to the top till it gets melty and crispy. When I pull it out, I drizzle balsamic vinegar over it. It's so good. I can eat a big bowl of this over some brown rice. Yummy. So that's what I knew I had in the refrigerator. What could I do with just this and this and pair it together and roast it in the oven? And if you're not a cook and you've never roasted, I guarantee you, if you just start to roast in your oven, it's so simple. You can get that delicious roasted flavor of vegetables, and you're not like boiling all of the nutrients out. It's so, so good. I picked up a package of baby spinach because I like to add this to my soup. And my soup is basically chicken, carrots, celery, some pasta, and this spinach. And it's a recipe that Lisa Z09, I think it is. I'll reference her channel below, but something that she posted and I've made twice since, and it's just so good. But I do always make my own chicken stock when I'm making soup, if I'm going to make like a good soup, and so I know how to do that. But this recipe that she uses calls for leeks. And if you're not familiar with leeks, this is a leek. It's really a great flavor to add to soups. It's delicious. And for those people who don't like onions, I find that when I use the leeks in soup, they just love the soup. So, you know, it's a win-win. And of course I did pick up some other groceries. So hope you don't mind this casual kind of video that I'm putting together. I'm not showing you my whole entire grocery list. Basically, I've put everything else away. One of the other things that I do want to talk to you about is some favorite kitchen gadgets that I use all the time and I just take for granted. I forget about how great they are. This is an OXO spinner. I've had this for years. It's awesome. I mean, it is just so handy. What you do, it has this removable basket and you put your produce, or like right now I have fresh parsley in there, and this is what was left over in the fridge. And, that's now in the sink. Okay, that's a good place for it. That I had used part of it, cleaned it, and then this, I don't like to wet my greens too far in advance of me using them, because then I think they just go bad faster. But what you do is you put whatever you have in your basket, rinse it really, really good, and then you put it on in the inside of the bowl, put the lid on. Of course, it's a salad spinner, and you just pop the salad spinner, stop it when you're done, and what it does is it excretes all of the liquid out of it, and I've already emptied this like 2 or 3 times from its washing. So then what I do is put it on a paper towel, pat it, let it dry really, really good, and then I just kind of seal it in a baggie with the paper towel wrapped around it, and it stays fresh much, much longer. So I had that left over, so that's also going to be part of my soup stock. And the other gadget that I want to talk to you about is a good peeler. This happens to be a KitchenAid peeler. It has a nice solid gripped handle. That's why I really like it. Plus, it peels so nicely. It's not a chore to get through an item, whether it's an apple, a cucumber. It peels so well, but it gives you a good strong grip. The blades are good. This is another gadget to invest in your kitchen that you will use all the time. Those are just 2 of my many, many favorite gadgets that I have, but they're the ones that I use repeatedly over and over. So I've got quite a bit of cleaning up left to do, and today I'm not quite prepared to make my soup stock, but I'm going to get everything ready for it, clean, chopped up, so that once I take my meat out of the freezer tomorrow morning, I can just get busy making soup. And you know, it's true, when you live in the South, you think, I don't want soup. Soup is, for us, that all around year good home bowl of yumminess. It has great properties in it. It's good for you. It makes you feel good. And it's good any time of the year. I know people say, oh, it's just too hot to think about drinking soup. I agree, because I'm always hot. I'm on the scale of hot, above the scale of hot. But I can tell you that a good bowl of soup is something I will never pass up, because I mean, you're in air conditioning, so a good bowl of soup, I'm having a hard time saying that, a great bowl of soup, whether it's noodle, chicken, beef, barley, bean soup. Love bean soup. And if you have an Instapot, you can make the most delicious bean soup in no time flat. So tomorrow will be my cooking soup day. Today is just my cleaning out, fridge prepping. Here guys, I'm showing you in my OXO salad spinner, I have sliced cucumbers, and I have them sliced pretty thin, as you can see, and I have them doused in sea salt and kosher salt, And what I'll do is just going to mix that salt all over them. What the salt will do is draw the moisture out of the cucumbers. Now, some people actually clean the center of the cucumber out and remove the seeds. I don't for cucumber salad. I like it with sour cream, a little bit of dill, red wine vinegar, and lots of black pepper and purple onion, and mix it up with that sour cream base. Now, this will sit in here to draw all of the liquid out of the cucumber, and then I will completely rinse it all out so it doesn't have all of that salt left in it, but it does flavor the cucumbers. And then I'll rinse it really, really good and spin it in my spinner until it's completely dry, and I'll have a great cucumber sour cream salad. It's delicious if you haven't tried it. And another nifty little tip is what I like to do in the kitchen. This is just a kind of a resin bowl. I don't use it for anything else other than my garbage bowl. And what I like to do is just put a little plastic bag inside, and then while I'm cooking that day, usually in the morning, I start out with a fresh, clean bag. I put all of my scraps in there. That way it alleviates me walking back and forth to the garbage pail, and then all of my food garbage is contained in one plastic bag. So I call this my garbage bowl. If I don't have a plastic bag, I just stick it in my garbage bowl and then throw it out all at once, and then wash my garbage bowl out. But it's kind of a neat trick. I don't like putting cucumber skin or apple skin or onion skin or any of that in my garbage disposal. I think it just, over the years, clogs it up. So I don't use my garbage disposal for those types of waste. So I use my little garbage bowl. It's really handy when I'm done with it. At the end of the day, after cooking, I wash it really good, dry it, and I stick it under my cupboard, and that's what I use it for. So that's another neat little tip. Another tip is the use of these 31 bags. I keep them in my car, and I have one long, big one, and one medium-sized one, and they totally smash down. So I keep this one stored inside that one, and I keep them in the trunk of my car, and it makes it so handy when you're doing your grocery shopping, and you can just fill your bags inside here and then just carry these in. These hold a whole bunch of heavyweight groceries, and it's so much easier to transport them from your trunk into your kitchen. So I thought I would share that with you also. And of course, another great tip is to repurpose and recycle your grocery bags if you don't use cloth bags. Sometimes I just take the cloth bags inside. Today I didn't. And so what I'll do is I will use these in my trash bins or my garbage bowls, and that way they're repurposed. I fold them up and into kind of like a little triangular football shape, and I store them in a basket, and when I need them, they're great for any type of household use. I know a lot of people think that, this bulkiness is too much to store, and they get rid of their bags. But if you fold them, now these are large Target bags that I have folded into these triangular shapes, and they store really well in a basket, and you'd be surprised at how condensed of bags here will become, and I can store them inside a basket. I have soaking in really cold water my leftover celery that I'm going to use for my chicken stock, and leeks. Now, as it's apparent, I've cut off the green leafy portion of the leeks. Leeks are really sandy. They have a lot of sand in them, so I like to just slit them down the middle and give them a really good soak. And what I'll do is I keep all of these leafy green leaves that you see here attached to the celery, and I use that for the stock. That really, really flavors your chicken stock, and it's really good. And so what I'll do is I'll cut the celery up into bite-sized pieces, and then I'll store it in water until tomorrow in the refrige so it keeps it nice and crisp, and then I'll use it for my soup. This is the green, dirty, leafy portion that I cut off from the leeks, and into the garbage bowl it goes.
I hope you enjoyed this video all about my prepping and preparing for grocery shopping and a little bit of impromptu meal planning. I know the salad spinner can be really, really loud, but it sure does a great job, and I use it all the time in the kitchen. So I think I'm going to leave you with my pretty sound of this rain that really got me working in the kitchen. And here's my finished soup. It is so delicious. Pasta, chicken, carrots, celery, leeks, spinach, you name it. It's perfect for a rainy day and even a not so rainy day. And roasted chicken with yellow red bell pepper served over apple, pear, gorgonzola salad. So delicious. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you'll try some of these delicious recipes and that maybe you picked up a quick tip or trick about grocery shopping day. Bye.